So, do you remember that clip of a games journalist struggling to get past the tutorial in Cuphead? Well, I do, and it will never not be funny. It was when watching that absolute disaster class that I had an idea. So, here are 10 times video game Easter eggs and secrets made me feel like a games journalist. As always, I'd love to hear your suggestions for Easter eggs that made you feel special down in the comments. And if you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Now, we've all started a game before and realised that we might have overestimated our abilities when choosing the difficulty. It's okay, it happens. Usually you can just go into the settings and turn the difficulty down. Well, in the very first God of War game, you can't do that. Once you've picked your difficulty, that's it, you're locked in. Well, kind of. You see, if you die too many times, the game will take pity on you and offer you a chance to lower the difficulty to something more manageable. The only problem is, on the HD version, which I streamed using PlayStation Plus, hence the poor quality, the offer comes with a secret trophy called Getting My Ass Kicked. The thing about giving you a trophy for being bad is that it's forever on your profile, almost like a brand marking you as a bad player. Which is kind of funny. Oh, and yes, I did record the other God of War gameplay on a PS2 emulator, because there was no way I was going to use the PS Plus streamed footage because the quality is just so poor. But I did have to use that footage to show the trophy pop. I know that some of you won't even notice the difference, but I notice it, and once I notice something like that, I can't unnotice it. Speaking of games that give you an unwanted achievement for being forced to lower the difficulty, yes, that is pretty specific. Up next is Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands. Now, at the beginning of the game, you can only select normal or easy difficulty, and on normal, things are pretty easy. Still, I know that there are some people out there who would disagree, and unlike God of War, you can choose to change the difficulty in the game's options without having to suffer multiple embarrassing deaths beforehand. The only problem is, if you do this, you'll be given the Our Little Secret achievement, which has a description of, "Don't worry, we won't tell if you don't." Which is nice, but it's on my profile forever now, so it's not much of a secret, is it? Now, it's no secret that games are expensive, and that's why you want to get the most bang for your buck when you do drop your hard-earned cash on one. That means playing all there is to play and seeing all there is to see. Well, what if I told you that there was a game that got so tired of you being bad that it just straight up skips a section to save you the embarrassment? In the Deadpool game, there's a stealth section where you have to sneak up on Mr. Sinister and introduce him to the sharp end of Deadpool's sword.
Surprise! Ha! Got the little bitch this time, didn't we?
Now, Deadpool isn't exactly the quiet, sneaky type, so this can be pretty difficult, and if you fail, Deadpool will insult you for being a bumbling idiot.
Be stealthy this time, jackass. Come on now. Assassinate these fools quietly. Okay, now this is getting silly.
Well, if you continue to fail, even after a telling off from Mr. Paul, then the game will just straight up skip the stealth section.
All right, enough. That's it. Let's just skip on ahead, shall we?
I mean, granted, you aren't missing much. Stealth sections in non-stealth games aren't really great, but being so bad that a game just says, "Don't worry, you can skip this part," is pretty embarrassing. Now, something that we don't get to use as much in games these days are cheats. Being able to input a code and become invincible probably saved games journalists a lot of headaches, but now this sort of thing happens.
Problem is that during SpongeBob's wind-up animation for bowling, he walks forward. That means you fall off of the button, which closes the gate and prevents you from bowling the bubble where you intended, when you intended.
You serious?
Anyway, if you're playing Superman Returns, then surely you won't need cheats, as you're playing as Superman. Supes has all the moves you'd expect, like heat lasers, ice lasers, and a badass superhero landing. But if being the world's most powerful superhero still isn't enough for you, you can enter cheats at the pause menu to give yourself a leg up. Well, another leg up really, as you already are Superman, but who's counting? If you enter a cheat, you'll be rewarded with the Not So Super achievement, which includes the description of entered a cheat code in a desperate plea for help. Much like the God of War trophy, this 0-point achievement is going to stain your profile for the rest of time. And to top it off, you also get called desperate. which isn't cool. Now, we've already seen what happens when a games journalist fails a tutorial, and let's take one more look because it will never not be funny. Well, some games actually predict that players might lack opposable thumbs, and uses that knowledge as an excuse to mock your lack of skill and thumbs. Spider-Man the movie game starts you off in the shoes of Tobey Maguire, you know, before he became a hip-thrusting edgelord. It's typical tutorial stuff, showing you that with great power comes big booty bitches. Or at least I think that's how it goes.
With great power comes great big booty bitches.
Here's the thing, you can be too responsible and not actually fight back. And if you somehow manage to be defeated by an enemy in the tutorial, this will happen.
Okay, well, you just got pounded by the weakest enemy in the entire game. That's not something you're going to want to brag about, alright? Now, luckily for you, you can practice here until guys like this are just speed bumps on the way to bigger bad guys. Of course, if you suck, you'll just stay here forever.
So Bruce Campbell of Evil Dead fame will roast you for being pounded by the weakest enemy in the game. I mean, first of all, if I was this guy, I wouldn't be happy being called the weakest enemy in the entire game, but that's just me. If I was Tobey Maguire, I would look into leaving the whole Spider-Man thing behind and becoming a professional hip thruster, because let me tell you, those hips don't lie. So Prey might have the best opening of any game I've ever played. It might not be the most action-packed, but it's by far the most memorable. There are so many clues that all is not as it seems, with my personal favourite being leaving something outside of the lift, then using the lift to change floors, only for that item to still be where you left it, which isn't how that's supposed to work. I won't spoil the big reveal here, but if you haven't played Prey before, then please give it a try. Anyway, when you do finally make it to the roof, you have to board a helicopter and make your way to work. It's about as simple as a video game objective can be. Well, if you decide that the idea of going to work is too much to bear, and trust me, we've all been there, you can do this. So it seems that the developers of Prey somehow predicted that curious players would, let's say, experiment with the helicopter blades, and decided to reward those curious players with a secret achievement. I mean, I'm calling them curious, but they also could just be really stupid. Now, back in the day, game over screens were a common sight, though modern games seem to have done away with the concept of game overs, probably because some of them used to be pretty brutal. Take the Demolition Man game on the 3DO, for example. I mean, the game is nothing to write home about, though it does contain scenes that weren't in the movie. Whether that's a positive or not, I'll let you decide. Moving swiftly on, not only does Stallone perform in those Oscar-worthy scenes, he also tells you off if you lose all your lives, which is very funny.
Come on, is this the best you can do? Hey, Puke Skywalker, use the Force. You're a nice kid, but you suck. Hey, Luke Skywalker, use the Force. Good, but I would say it's horrible yet terrible. Ugly yet disgusting. You suck.
I mean, I can't be the only one that thinks that some of those line deliveries could have done with a second take. But who am I to judge Sylvester Stallone? Now, I didn't know that Totally Accurate Battle Simulator had a campaign mode. I thought it was just a sandbox game where you made random minions fight each other. Playing the campaign for the first time, I was having fun. It's basically a puzzle game where you have to decide how to spend your resources to win a battle. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the battles can be tough, and I spent way longer than I'd like to admit on the second battle, because I didn't know that I could select different units. And that's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. Well, it turns out that if you fail a campaign mission 10 times in a row, then you'll be given an achievement that just straight out laughs at you. Like I said, I didn't know that you could change units, so I just thought that the game was really hard. Oh, and another excuse is that I didn't realise I could actually control a friendly unit too, so that's now 2 reasons why I failed so badly on a game's second level. Now, I've already said that games are expensive. Now, it's no secret that games are expensive. See, I did say that. Well, they're expensive to buy, but they're also really expensive to make. With that in mind, you would think that after getting your money, a game would do everything in its power to stop you refunding it. Well, you'd be wrong. Cryptmaster is a game where you can say pretty much whatever you like to solve puzzles. As you might expect, it begins with a tutorial that requires you to type the word hit to gain your first skill. But if you refuse to type the word and continue ahead with no skill, this will happen.
Stop. Okay, I think we need a word. In fact, I think I'm going to have to crack the fourth wall just a little. Frankly, I don't think this is the game for you. All you had to do was type the word hit. I hinted, and then I outright instructed you. I even used 2 separate tooltips. What I'm saying is, it's not my fault if you didn't get it. Now, I do hope you haven't been playing for more than 2 hours, have you? Good. Well, what you need to do is select the game in your Steam library and then click on Support. There will be an option to ask for a refund, and you should select "The game is too hard" as your reason for wishing to do so. In the box for additional comments, you might also like to add "I'm an imbecile" or words to that effect. Hurry though, time is ticking. Now, do you want one more try? Well then, it seems we have to part ways. Goodbye.
So after ignoring the game's advice multiple times, eventually the Cryptmaster will appear and walk you through the Steam refund process. He even asks if you played the game for 2 hours, which is the cutoff for a refund on Steam. Now, I don't know if it's my ego or something, but if a game claimed that I wasn't good enough for it and that I should seek a refund, I'm doing everything in my power to prove it wrong. So if the developers meant this as some sort of reverse psychology, congratulations. It definitely worked. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. YouTube seems to think that you'll like the video on screen now, so go ahead and check that out. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.